everyone, it's Tim from LInessa Farms, Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. Thanks for joining us again today. Today we are talking about the number one thing that you need to look for when selecting lambs or goat kids. Stay tuned to find out more. Hey everyone, it's Tim from LInessa Farms. So today we're talking about selecting lambs and goat kids either as replacements for animals that we already have on the farm or as potential show prospects. Now we've been getting lots and lots of questions about how do I decide which animals I want to use for show? And you know, that's extremely difficult for us to answer for multiple reasons. A lot of this depends on what portion of the United States you live in and what judges in your area are looking for. So if I were you and I were trying to decide on what I want for a show lamb or for a show kid, I would talk to judges in your area, I would talk to 4-H'ers in your area, and see what it is that you're looking for. You know, here in Indiana, what we look for in a lamb or in a goat kid is not the same as what we look for in places like Texas, for instance. In Texas, they're looking for something completely different. You go out to the West Coast, same thing. Go out to the East Coast, same thing. So it's very important for you to keep that in consideration. Now, with that being said, I want to talk to you a little bit about body shape and how important it is. I don't care if you talk to a judge anywhere in the United States, you're going to hear kind of the same thing told to you over and over and over. Now there's lots of things that go into length and height and everything else, but overall the body shape of that lamb or goat kid is going to be very, very important. And this all comes down to what I like to refer to as circles and squares. We want circles, we don't want squares. And this can be a little confusing because initially when you look at babies, the squares are actually going to look better. And that's where people get confused and that's where people start making really big mistakes. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about that. Now, we're going to show you two different lambs today. We're just using lambs for an example, but you can correlate this with your goats as well. We're going to show you one lamb that's a little bit boxier. We're going to show you one lamb that's a little bit more cylindrical. Now, I want you to consider, and we've had a lot of videos about this recently, but we talked about, we've talked a little bit about genetics. And when it comes to genetics, what I mean by that is I want you looking at mom and I want you to look at dad and I want you to see what do they look like. You know, if mom is garbage and dad's garbage, then you're going to get garbage. You're not going to get some magical mixture of two subpar animals that are going to produce you like this fantastic baby. It just doesn't work that way. But my point is we want to pay attention to that genetics. We're going to talk a lot about body structure and what body structure you're looking for. But again, if that animal doesn't have the genetic propensity to grow, then you're probably not going to get very far. Not to say that we can't get better than we have, but don't expect to start off with something that's subpar and get something that's going to win the county fair. Essentially, that's what I'm saying. Speaking of genetics, we're kind of in the middle of a genetic series here at LInessa Farms. If you haven't followed our first genetic video yet, go ahead and check it out right here and get caught up. So when our next one comes out, you'll be prepared for that. So without further delay, let's talk about that one special thing that I am referring to. So when we're looking at our lambs, and you all know how good I am at drawing lambs, when we're looking at our lambs, there's lots and lots of things that we are going to want to look at, but first and foremost, I want you looking at this area right here. And I want you specifically looking for the shape of that area right here. So between the shoulders and the hips back here, we want that lamb or that goat to have a cylindrical shape to him or her through the body. And that cylindrical shape is going to pay dividends later on. Now, this can be a little bit confusing. And the reason that this can be a little bit confusing is because our very square-shaped bodies tend to look bigger when they are young. And a lot of people will look at a very square-shaped baby and say, oh, that it looks really big. And the reason for that is because a square-shaped baby is going to carry a little bit more, is going to carry a little deeper in the chest, and it's going to make it look a little fuller. And it may also be a little bit wider when you're looking at it from the front. But again, circles are what we're looking for. And here's the reason why. When we have our baby that has that nice cylindrical shape, let me erase this. Let's get a little better look at this together. So when I'm looking at my lamb from the front, this would be head and neck, and we're coming down into the shoulders, and those are coming down into the legs. When we're looking at this lamb from the front, that circle initially when they're a baby is going to make this distance look slightly smaller. But the way that animal puts on muscle will help them in the long run. Babies that are circular shaped tend to grow complete and round like this. As that muscle grows on the top, it kind of has more surface area to grow, and you get a fuller, more developed looking lamb. So when we talk about our box-shaped lamb, that boxiness initially at birth can make them look a little wider, and it can actually add a little bit more depth. So overall, when you're looking at this baby when it's born, what you're going to see is they're going to look a little thicker, they're going to look a little wider. But what's going to happen over time, instead of growing all the way around, what they're going to do is they're mostly going to put on their muscle like this. They have a much smaller surface area to grow muscle on, and they're pretty much going to tend to grow up and grow down. On their spine, on the back of this one's spine, its spine's going to look it's going to feel kind of like this to you, and this is an exaggeration, where this one is going to feel just more kind of like a sphere to you. So when you lay your hands on your animals, I really want you to pay attention to that. Again, we're going for cylindrical look and not so much going for boxy look. The other problem that you're going to notice with your boxier lambs is when they grow, they're going to kind of tend to fall apart on you. And what I mean by that is when you have a cylindrical lamb, that cylindrical lamb, if anything, as that cylindrical lamb grows, you may see more of this happen. You may see more of an aggressive stance to them as they grow and get more muscle, which is actually going to help to make them look a little bit better. Where with our boxier lambs, what you're going to see happen is this. And almost all the time, this is what happens. Hey everyone, it's Tim from LInessa Farms. If you have not yet given us a thumbs up for this video and you're enjoying what you're watching, please consider giving that thumbs up. And hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, consider doing that now as well. Initially, we've got a little bit more depth here, but as that grows, you're going to see them fall apart down like this. And it's a very unattractive look for the lamb. Very deep chested. Not a very good athletic look to them. And again, they're just going to continue to grow this way, and they're going to fall apart down in their chest floor. Where in this case, we're putting on more and more size this way, and this one we're just adding a little at the top and a little at the bottom. So there's a lot more that goes into lambs as far as size, shape, and structure is concerned, and that's something that you can talk to show people about. A lot of people, are going to want to talk with you about overall length of this area right here. People are going to want to talk to you about airspace underneath and 90-degree angle of your neck, Lots and lots of things that go into these lambs, but again, if you don't have your circular shape, if you don't have that tubular shape, and you start off with one of these, bad, bad, bad. Always, always, always. Do not get hung up on the weight of the animal. Do not get hung up on the birth size of the animal. If you can find an animal that has a very nice cylindrical look to them, and they have good genetics, and you know that they have a propensity to grow, they're going to be far, far more superior than the square-shaped bodies. All right, so here we have this guy, and what I want you to consider between the two of them is this guy here is far younger. And even though he's younger, he looks a lot bigger. He's kind of a fast grower. He's always been kind of big. He's a crossbreed between a couple different breeds, so we kind of have that hybrid vigor when he's growing. And so he's going to grow a lot faster, and right off the bat, he's going to look a lot bigger. But when I look at this guy straight on, if you look, you can kind of see that peak to his back. And what I'm looking at, when I lay my hands on him back here, he feels like he's kind of angled like this to me. And looking at his side, you can see he's a little bit deeper already in his side, and he's got more of that boxy look to him. So again, you know, outwardly, somebody might look at this lamb. Go ahead and set him down a little so they can see him stand. Somebody might look at this lamb and be like, oh, that's a really big lamb, or that's going to be a really big ram. And in all reality, this guy's going to grow really fast. He's going to get bigger much faster, but in the long run, he's going to finish out earlier, and he's just never going to have that size and structure that we're looking for in a lamb overall. So again, you know, laying my hands on his back here, and I can feel him. He's very hard sloped along his sides like this, and his ribs just aren't sprung very well at all. Hey, did you know that our website has all kinds of forms that can be useful for you on your farm? We have automated forms, birthing records, all kinds of nice stuff that you can use for your farm to help you to grow and manage your animals better. If you go to www.LInessaFarms.com, go to the top right-hand corner and click on Downloads to see all that we have available. All right, so this is Benson, and Benson is quite a bit older than that last lamb that we looked at, but you'll see he looks a little shallower. He doesn't have near the body condition on him as that other one did, or at least he doesn't look like he does. If you come over here and you look, you'll notice he's very, very round. He's kind of hunched up on us right now, and it's hard for us to tell, but he's kind of reminds me of kind of a wiener dog kind of look to him. He's smaller here, but when I lay my hands on him, and my fingers are almost in a perfect circle here around his rib cage. He is not flat-sided at all. His ribs are nice and round. He's got a decent amount of length on him, even taking length and everything else out of the equation. The truth of the matter is Benson's not going to get there as fast as that other lamb is going to get there as far as weight is concerned. That other lamb is going to seem to grow faster. He's going to put on weight faster, and he's going to get bigger quicker. But in the long run, Benson's going to pass him up, and body conformation-wise, and overall just all-around well-being and appeal of appearance, Benson is just going to blow him out of the water. So that is it in a nutshell. I am Tim from LInessa Farms, specialty in heirloom livestock. Thanks for joining us again today.